Hi everyone, today we're going to do lesson 3.1 part 2 of algebraic expressions. So again, the essential question is how can you write and evaluate an expression that represents a real life problem? So you'll be able to solve algebraic expressions and you'll be able to talk out how an algebraic expression can represent a real life problem. So this video is a little longer, so make sure to pause and pay attention if you need to. So again, algebraic expression may contain numbers, operations, and one or more symbols. Parts of an algebraic expression are called terms. So here are the terms, 5p and 4. Remember, the variable is the letter, the coefficient is right next to the variable, and then the constant does not have a variable next to it. To evaluate an algebraic expression, you're going to substitute a number for each variable and then use the order of operations to find the value of the numerical expression. So here's an example. So evaluate k plus 10 when k equals 25. So what you do is you substitute 25 for k. So you have k plus 10, but you're going to substitute it so then it's 25 plus 10, and then you would solve. 25 plus 10 is 35. Evaluate 4 times n when n equals 12. Again, 4 times n, and then if n is 12, you would do 4 times 12, substitute it, and then multiply to get 48. So let's do a couple practice ones. If we have 24 plus c when c equals 9. So 24 plus c, and then we're going to substitute 9 for c. So 24 plus 9. So then we would just solve it. 24 plus 9 equals 33. So that would be our answer for number 6. And then 7, if we evaluate d minus 17 when d equals 30. Well, so we're going to substitute 30 for d. So we would write 30 minus 17, and then we would solve. We would do 30 minus 17 to get 13. So evaluating an expression with two variables. So evaluate a divided by b when a equals 16 and b equals 2/3. So we have a divided by b. We just have to substitute both of them. So we're going to substitute 16 for a and 2/3 for b. And then we multiply by the reciprocal because it's division. So you keep, change, flip, and then you multiply, and then when you get it out and you simplify, it equals 24. So if we look at these expressions, when p equals 24 and q equals 8. So the first one is p divided by q. So if p equals 24, we're going to substitute 24 for p, and then q is 8, and then we would solve. 24 divided by 8 equals 3. If we have p minus q, like we do in this one, then we would do 24 for p minus 8 instead and solve to get 16. Here we have q plus p. Q is 8 plus p is 24, and then we'd solve. 8 plus 24 is 32. And then the last one, PQ, remember when it is right next to each other, it is the same as P times Q. So then we would substitute those in and we would do 24 for P times 8 for Q to get 192. Now, I will say when you're solving problems and you're doing your practice ones, a lot of these you can do in your head. Like this one you can do in your head, this one, this one, you know. If you get bigger numbers, it's okay. Use a calculator and check your answer. Next one, evaluate 3x minus 14 when x equals 5. So this has we're going to work up to 2 operations. So there's 2 operations in here because, remember, 3x means 3 times 5. So we would have the 5 for x, 3 times 5, minus 14. So then you do, using the order of operations, you got to do that first. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minus 14 is 1. If we evaluate z squared plus 8.5 when z equals 2, substitute 2 for z. So instead of this, you're going to substitute it in, so then you get 2 squared plus 8.5. Using order of operations, evaluate 2 squared. 2 squared, remember, is the same as 2 times 2, which they got 4. And then you add 4 plus 8.5 is 12.5. A quick reminder back on this one, if you have 3x, that could look like 3 times x, or like what they did there with the parentheses. Remember, when something is right next to the parentheses, there's that invisible multiplication sign in there as well. So as a reminder, when you have more than 2 operations, you still have to use the order of operations of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You do everything in parentheses first. Then you do exponents. Then you do multiplication and division from left to right. And then you do addition and subtraction from left to right. So there's a quick reminder in the order of operations. So let's do a couple of these. We're going to evaluate the expression when y equals 6. So if we have 5y plus 1, we have to substitute y for 6. So I'm going to do that as a reminder, multiplication times 6 plus 1. So I know I have to multiply first because multiply comes before addition. 5 times 6 is 30. Then I'm going to add 1. 30 plus 1 is 31. That's my answer. If I have number 13, 30 minus 24 divided by y. Well, I got to substitute in 6 for y. And then remember that when you do this expression, division comes before subtraction. When you think of PEMDAS, when you think of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, division comes before subtraction. So I'm going to do 24 divided by 6 first, which is 4. And then I would do 30 minus 4, which is 26. That's my final answer. If I have y squared minus 7, I'm going to substitute 6 for y, so I get 6 squared minus 7. Well, remember, 6 squared is the same as 6 times 6. So then 6 times 6 is 36 minus 7. So then I would just solve 36 minus 7 is 29. So again, sometimes you're going to get expressions that look like this, where they give you values for A, B, and C, multiple variables. But this expression only has one variable. So if I have 2A plus 3, remember it's right next to the A, so A equals 10. So I'm going to substitute in that 10 plus 3. Well, multiplication comes before addition, so 2 times 10 is 20 plus 3 equals 23. So now you're going to do some practice problems on your own. Good luck.